There is someone in your life who hurt you. Maybe years ago, maybe yesterday. You might not even talk to them anymore. You cut ties, you moved on, or at least that's what you tell yourself. But at 2 in the morning, when the quiet gets heavy, you still replay the scene. What they said, what you should have said back, what they never deserved. And here's the question nobody asks you. While you're running that scene in your head for the 10th time this week, where is that person right now? They're probably asleep. Nietzsche called this ressentiment, and he said it's the most dangerous poison a human being can carry. Not because it harms the other person, but because it slowly eats alive the one who holds it. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how that poison works inside you, where it comes from, and what Nietzsche discovered that can set you free before it finishes what it started. But before we get to the way out, and there is a way out, and I'm giving it to you today, I need to show you something that will change the way you see every grudge you've ever held. Something Nietzsche identified in the 19th century that modern neuroscience only confirmed decades later. Stay until the end. What's coming might be uncomfortable, but the discomfort that frees you is worth more than the comfort that keeps you caged. Friedrich Nietzsche was not an ivory tower philosopher. He was a sick man, deeply lonely, rejected by academia and by the woman he loved. He knew what it meant to carry weight, and it was out of that lived pain that he gave us one of the most powerful concepts in all of Western philosophy. On the genealogy of morality, Nietzsche describes ressentiment. He kept the word in French, not as a passing emotion, but as a mode of existence, a way of moving through the world where past suffering becomes present identity. The man of ressentiment doesn't know how to react. He only knows how to simmer. For Nietzsche, there are two fundamental types of people. The active type, who feels something, responds, acts, and moves forward, and the reactive type, who feels something, gets stuck in the feeling, and builds an entire identity around it. The man of ressentiment belongs to the second category. He doesn't define himself by what he wants, he defines himself by what he hates. And here's the cruel part. The smarter you are, the more sophisticated this process becomes. You don't just hold a grudge, you build a case. You gather evidence, you rehearse arguments. You create an internal courtroom that never closes, because closing the case would mean giving up the one identity you have left, the victim. Notice this right now. If you feel like no one truly gets you, like the people around you don't deserve what they have, like you'd do everything better if you'd just been given the same chances, that's not clarity, that's ressentiment dressed up as insight, and the difference matters a lot. Naming what you feel is the first act of power over it. Friedrich Nietzsche was a genealogist. He wasn't interested in what things are, he wanted to know where they come from. And when he traced the origin of ressentiment, he found something disturbing. It is born from powerlessness. When we are hurt and cannot respond, out of fear, out of dependency, out of sheer difference in power, the energy that should become action has nowhere to go. So it turns inward. It becomes rumination, judgment, the quiet construction of moral superiority. I'm better than them. At least I would never do something like that. That's the move ressentiment makes. It converts weakness into virtue, passivity into nobility, the inability to act into ethical high ground. And that's what makes it so devastating, because it feels right, it feels justified, it feels like the truth. I remember a period of my own life when I built a perfect case against someone who had betrayed me. Every detail accounted for, every flaw dissected. I saw myself as the honest one, the principled one, the one who could see things clearly. But the question it took me years to ask was, did all of that make me more free? Or did it just keep me tethered to that person, that moment,
that wound. Ressentiment is an invisible chain. You think you walked away, but as long as you carry the grudge, that person still lives inside you. They still take up space. They still shape your mood, your thoughts, your nights. Here's a simple test. Think about the last time you told a story about something bad that happened to you. What role did you play? If you are always the one who did the right thing and suffered for someone else's mistake, I'm not saying you're lying. I'm saying ressentiment is an excellent editor. It cuts everything that doesn't serve the victim's narrative. Protagonists carry responsibility. Victims only carry pain. Which one leaves room to grow?
Nietzsche was not naive. He didn't preach easy forgiveness, spiritual resignation, or the kind of just let it go that functions more like a sedative than a solution. He was hard. And so the answer he offered is hard too. The opposite of ressentiment for Nietzsche is not peace, it's creation. It's what he called the will to power, the capacity to transform experience into creative force, into direction, into motion. The active type doesn't forgive in the sentimental sense. They simply don't have time to ruminate. They're too busy building. The question that traps you is, what did they do to me? The question that frees you is, what do I do with what they did? There is a fundamental difference between processing pain and living in it. Processing means feeling it, understanding it, integrating it, and moving. Living in it means furnishing the room, taking up permanent residence, making the wound the centerpiece of who you are. Nietzsche believed that the great human being is one who endures tremendous experiences without being defined by them. This is not repression, it's transformation. It's what athletes do with a crushing loss, what artists do with grief, what anyone you've ever truly admired did with the worst chapters of their lives. They didn't forget, they used it. Remember when I said Nietzsche identified something that neuroscience confirmed decades later? Here it is. Research in cognitive neuroscience shows that rumination activates the same stress circuits as the original event. Every time you replay the scene, your brain releases the same cortisol. You are not remembering, you are suffering again in real time, while the person who hurt you goes about their day without a second thought. Ressentiment is not memory, it is self-harm wearing the mask of justice. So let me ask you, not rhetorically, but genuinely, is there someone still living rent-free in your head? A situation you keep returning to that never takes you anywhere new? A judgment that replays on a loop? A grudge you call a memory, but in reality is a cage? If the answer is yes, and for most people it is, the first step is not forgiveness, it's recognizing the cost. How much of your present are you spending to keep that file open? How much energy goes into an internal courtroom that will never give you back what was taken? Nietzsche wasn't gentle, but he was honest. And the honesty he offered was this: you can carry the weight of what was done to you forever, or you can use it as fuel to become something that situation never could have destroyed. The choice is yours, and it starts right now. One question for the comments. What was the moment you realized you were carrying a resentment that was only costing you? What helped you let it go? Share it. Your story might be exactly what someone watching this today needs to hear. And if this video hits something real for you, the next one goes deeper into what Nietzsche believed was the ultimate antidote to nihilism. You're going to want to see it.